It has been an absolute crazy day for the stock market. And if you followed the presidential advice this morning of buying stocks on Wednesday morning, you were in for a really big windfall by the end of the day. Now, at 9:37 this morning, just after the opening bell, Trump posted something on social media that said, "This is a great time to buy the market." And then he posted, ended with DJT, which are his initials and the ticker symbol for Trump Media. A lot of people started buying it. Now, is this insider trading? A lot of people are saying that's exactly what was there, knowing what was coming in the afternoon, and Elon Musk finally getting what he wanted. Theoretically, anyone who bought that when Trump was talking and urging netted a really, really big return. Stock shot up in a historic reversal in afternoon trading when Trump announced that he was walking back some of the tariffs and putting them on pause for 90 days, planning to really export. And especially when it comes to China, some of the tariffs might still be there, but overall the market was just waiting to pounce on it. So if you got in right at that 9:37 post that was this morning, the S&P 500 was trading around $494 that minute, climbing right to almost $550, which was an 11% jump when Trump said to buy. Now, again, if you're making 10%, if you have a really large pot to go ahead and invest and you bought it this morning, as soon as that post was posted, and I know a lot of people are now going to be looking for anything for the president that is talking about buying stocks if the market is down, if it's pulling down, that is kind of crazy. So if you had $1,000, you put it in when he announced that it was time to buy, you would have had $1,110 or that 11% increase just in a very, very short amount of time. Looking at the S&P finishing the session high at 10.5%, a biggest one-day gain in the past 7 years going back to 2008 with a single gain. Now, Trump Media, which we know Trump is a majority shareholder, popped after he referenced this in the post, which again, you talk about a little bit of insider trading. The stock was at $16.69 when the post went out, soared up to $20.40, which is a 22% gain, with the stock itself even finished the day up 21%, which is the strongest day that we have seen this year for it. So kind of crazy that, again, if you put $1,000 in there when the president was saying go ahead and buy, you would have came out with $1,222 at the high of the day. So gaining 22% in a day. When you start thinking of really exponential numbers, if you had 10,000, if you had 100,000, if you had a million, think about the 22% gain and what it looks like as a millionaire, which is kind of crazy. Now, when we look at the other side talking about Elon Musk, when we think of Tesla, another stock that has been very intertwined with everything that is going on in the administration, giving CEO Elon Musk the role of the controversial government efficiency intensive. Or really interesting to see because he's not appointed. Tesla dealerships were protested. They've been vandalized. They've been criticized. Everything you can imagine has been coming after Tesla. Tesla was at $226. All of a sudden, the Trump again posts on his social media platform, $276 in afternoon trading. Again, 21.4% increase, soaring over 22% for the entire day as the session ended, the biggest single day gain, and it is a record since 2013. So you're talking in the last 12 years, we just seen a massive increase in the stock market, just thinking of that very short window. So to be sure, stocks remain under pressure because this is temporary. When we think of the initial announcement after very strong market settlement, and of course, a lot of set off, the S&P 500 jumped a little bit on Wednesday, index still down 3% compared to was a week ago. But really looking at Reddit, Wall Street Bets, a lot of different places are calling themselves psychic, are calling them and really saying that it was insider information because they knew in the afternoon that the tariffs would be pulled back or rolled back or put on pause, and knowing and sending this out on the social media platform that he is the majority shareholder, which is kind of crazy. Can you imagine insider trading? Like if you're in the White House, you don't come out a bazillionaire. You are honestly the dumbest person on the planet, which again, that is a post over on, I believe it was Wall Street Bets. But when you think about this and when you think of, previous administrations that we've seen, knowing what is coming down the pipeline, I know a lot of big names like Nancy Pelosi, a lot of people talk about, but when you have the information, where is really the leverage and what does it mean when you use that information to have some gains? when you publicly announce on social media platforms that it is time to buy the market, and people that are following your advice or following you closely all of a sudden start putting and thinking of how much money flew into the stock market in a very short amount of time. Now, there are a couple things that you definitely have to be a little bit cautious about. Number one, when it comes to mortgage rates we've seen actually increase considerably today with the fear that a lot of sell-off of China-owned backed securities were going to be affected, that there was going to be some of that coming into play, and interest rates did really reflect this. Now, Treasury yield did come down a little bit, which was kind of expected. And this really poses, what is the Federal Reserve going to do if they're looking? And again, we started the year, they were talking about 6 to 7 reductions. All of a sudden, it went down to 1 or 2. Then we have everything that's going on with the current administration. All of a sudden, we're right back on to possibly 3 or 4 rate reductions this year, which, if we start bringing those rates down just because of the tariffs, could have a very detrimental effect when we look at bigger picture and the economy of the United States. But I know personally, when you start looking at debt, when you think of debt financing, looking at the price of vehicles as it sits today, looking at credit card rates, looking at mortgage rates, it is very, very difficult for a majority of Americans to get into a new home, not only at the exponential prices, which have went up quite a bit for houses, but also looking coupled with a 7% interest rate on that mortgage. If you're talking, $400,000 or $500,000 on a mortgage, you're almost looking at a $3,000 a month payment. For a majority of individuals, that is a payment that cannot be made, meaning there's a lot of homes that are being undersold or really unsold. That is in the building and development. And I don't know if you're seeing it in your neighborhood, but we are seeing it here where a lot of houses are staying on the market now a lot longer just because of the sheer cost that it would be for the taxes, the insurance, but also the home alone at a much higher interest rate. So pretty interesting to see exactly what he came out with. And I couldn't believe when I seen it this morning, literally it popped up as breaking news within CNBC. It said Donald Trump was telling us it is a great time to buy. And in the afternoon, I was dying laughing if you caught what he was saying about the yiping of Americans or the yiping of people themselves. And I've referred to, and a lot of people are saying that's a reference to Elon Musk talking to Donald Trump about the tariffs and what it could do to the businesses, and everybody complaining, including the stock market itself, really complaining about what is going on in the yiping. Again, that makes me think of a very small dog like a Chihuahua that yipes, and really just hearing a lot of feedback from a lot of different people it is one of the big reasons why, again, it came out in this afternoon and it did go ahead and really change the market for a lot of different people. So guys, let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about the insider trading information? If you consider that's exactly what it is, if you consider it isn't, definitely let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.